So what's up,
Going
Ken?
well.
Living
All
the dream,
right.
man.
We're going to go ahead and get rocking and rolling. I know people keep coming in throughout the time. Just, Ken, they kind of drip in for the first 10 minutes or so. As they're like, oh, shoot, it's 11 o'clock. Sonia sends out reminders and all that good stuff. Kaylin, you got your hat? Very cool. Nice. Trying to keep everybody in the community. And we're very fortunate that we've surrounded ourselves by some of the best of the best. And not just professionals, but people. Our big thing is finding other givers, people that have been in the industry for a while and giving back. And we have one of the best in the industry that always is giving, has one of the best platforms in the industry, one that we all need every year on a regular basis. Plus, it's not just that. Ken has a company called Knowledge Coop, which you should check out, Knowledge Coop, and knowledgecoop.com with a C. And
Don't worry, Sonia will do what she always does. It'll be
she'll put the link up there. But what's really cool is we included Ken because he is a connector. He builds communities. He builds people. He builds opportunities for people. And we were told by numerous people as we were creating our Momentum Builder community that if you're planning on giving back and want to have the best of the best and the people that are giving back to the industry and really knowledgeable, you need to connect with Ken. And you're like the fourth person that told us that. I don't know what you're paying them, Ken, but they all basically said you need to connect with Ken because you guys are like-minded. He's building communities. You guys should build a community together. So we wanted to bring Ken in. So Ken's part of our think tank. And he obliged immediately and said, what do you mean think tank? I'm like, we want to put together a group of the influencers, the coaches, the mentors, the people that are been in the industry 20, 30 years that know how to give back and know what our industry needs, more importantly. So we put together, and because Gina and I don't always know what is best for all of you. So we put together a think tank and we brought them all to Scottsdale and we paid for them to go there. Actually, the think tank members got themselves there and we took care of everything after there. So they actually invested to be part of the think tank in Scottsdale. And we sat for 2.5 days grinding at a table with some on zooming in and then some there. We had about a dozen there and thinking about how to make Momentum Builder better, whether as a community, as a training, as a resource, and as an event. And Ken is part of that. And we had to bring Ken back to share with you because he's always got insights. He's always got the best energy and one of the funniest dudes I've ever been, definitely on a golf course with. So we want to bring Ken here because if anybody's going to get you out of the funk, this is the guy who'll get you out of the funk. Other than, some 70s bands, this is the dude. So Ken Perry with Knowledge Coop, thank you for joining us, buddy.
Dude, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here, and just building a relationship with you guys has been so awesome this year. So I'm very impressed with what you're doing, what you're building, but more importantly with who you are, because you guys are just rock stars in my world. So I always judge people based on the dinners they take you to, and that dinner we had, what do you call it? I can't remember what we ordered. No, yeah, but what's the word you use for ordering? Just let them choose.
PMD. Put the menu down. That's what happens when people. That's what we said. We were going out to dinner, and I think we were with Craig Davis, and Craig's like, "I think we're just going to PMD this," and everybody's like, "What's that?" And Craig being around for a long time with us, he's like, "Just put the menu down. Gino will handle the rest."
And we just order all the goodies for everybody to share. We love family style. We're making sure everybody gets an opportunity to try all the good stuff. And we had some great meals between
Sonia, I got a feeling
talking stick on the top rooftop. And then the next day, Toca Madero. That was good stuff.
Well, look, I mean, that's actually a good subject to talk about. We are definitely a work hard, play hard group, right? We want to work really hard and dump all the energy we have into it and then recharge with food and drinks.
Yep.
It's just how we do it.
It's the only way to live.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we'd love you guys. You can see, I'm seeing more and more each of these calls, more and more of you using the reactions, getting engaged.
Cool.
This is about you. Remember, we just bring great people like Ken. Ken's going to go through his 5 ways to get out of the funk. But remember, this is for you. This is very ad lib. You can ask questions. Please comment on some of the suggestions, some of the things we're talking about, add your insights. This is what the community is all about, because it's hard right now. We're all challenged right now in this market. We're all getting our teeth kicked in a little bit, but we're figuring it out together. You don't want to do this on your own. And that's why you created a community. We have such exciting stuff. We have a team behind us. Ken knows the team that's going to start building out our Facebook page to communicate better, and regular engagement, regular trainings. We're creating a membership. And then the momentum builder in 2024 is going to be off the hook. It'll be an experience, not just an event, but an experience like none other that you're not going to want to miss. And we'll give you more details later. So without further ado, Ken, we're going to let you kind of help us get out of the funk, buddy.
Yeah. And actually it's a killer way to start the call, because I'm going to transition and kind of move one of my 5 things. I'm going to move up to the top just because it's topical right now. When I look at what everybody needs to be doing right now, and with all of the people that I know within the mortgage industry, with all the companies that we see, with all the clients of the Knowledge Coop that we have out there, we get to see how people are doing, and it's concerning right now. And so moving the team concept to thing number 1. So number 1 way out of the funk right now is, who are you surrounding yourself with? And there's been so many times in my life where things aren't going well. And I'll just take 2020, 2021 as an example. I still remember the biggest moment for me in 2020 was when I got a call from my buddy and my business partner, Mark Green. And he's like, hey, we're going to go golf in Bend. Do you want to go? And I'm like, let's go. And it was my first time I had gotten in my car since the lockdown had started. And I drove over there and we golfed for 2 days. And I remember that for me, like, I wasn't the Ken that I could be because I didn't have my team surrounding me. I was locked in a basement, literally I was in a basement for so many months, but getting out there and hanging out with people and getting that perspective from other people just really started to change the trajectory of my year. And I can point to every time I join up with a group of people and start talking through things, hanging out with you guys in Scottsdale, taking those opportunities to go engage with other people. Those are times that I get to be a better human, but also I get to be a better business person. And so when you're a loan officer right now, looking around you, if you're working from your house, you have no other connections out there, you don't have meetings with people that much, you're not going to be as successful, or you won't have the opportunities to be as successful as you can be if you're out there with groups of people building that team. So when I look at my team, just to kind of dive into this, I have a team at the office, right? The team at my company, that's my team that helps me be successful. I help them be successful. Together, we help the company be successful. But I need that team engaged in doing those things that make them awesome, that make me awesome, and that make the company awesome. When I look at my personal life, it doesn't, the work-life balance is kind of fun to talk about, but you need the same thing in both of those areas. And so in my personal life, I've got, my wife is on my team, my kids are on my team. My daughter, Aria, amazing business mind. And I'll reach out to her and go, I'm having business struggles. Can I run it by you? She's 20 years old. I've been doing it since she was like 10. So I know who I can resource, right? I know who my resources are that I can call up at any time and engage with those people. I have a therapist. I started seeing a therapist this year just because I think we all should. She's on my team.
He spent a lot of hours trying to tell me I should see one.
Everybody needs a therapist. It's insane. But
we all do.
I mean, I've had stuff go on where I'm like, the good news is Monday I have a meeting with my therapist. Like, when you have resources and when you know that things can get better because you have people you can talk to, then it makes it easier to manage through those things. So I've actually written my team down. I've told them they're on my team, and people know, like, you're on the team that is my success team, right? And I'm on their success team. It isn't about me. It's about us making each other better. So first thing you can do is do that, because being alone doesn't work for getting you out of this. It's just way too easy to go back into those, either old patterns or not get creative. We just did a brown bag lunch at the office.
And putting your head in the sand, hoping it's just going to get better.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that next.
Sorry, I don't mean to steal your thunder.
No, you're good. And we invited loan officers locally just for free to come and bring their lunch and chat. And it was amazing because you're around a room of people going through what you're going through. Nobody's taking each other's business, and they're sharing ideas and what they're running into. And I came away from that 1 hour free, like, we just put it together, I just came away from it feeling like, okay, they get it. Like they're going through it too. And I take some good tips from those guys. So number one is obviously surround yourself with a great team. Number two, and this is one that I think could really help everybody, is pull as much emotion out of this as possible. Data is your friend right now. And it can feel right now for a lot of people that made a ton of money last year, and they were bragging and saying, oh my gosh, I'm crushing it in 2021. Like 2021 was my year. Like I'm making so much money. And yeah, you are. But when you feel like you did something to deserve that in 2021, which a lot of people do have that feeling, like I knocked it out of the park. You did. The market brought most of that to you, right? You were there. You had to do the loans. You had to have a good process to do it. But a lot of that had nothing to do with your work, right? It's just, if you have 3% mortgages and I have a 6% loan, I'm going to call you and we're going to do that loan. But if you assigned yourself value based on that year, then you're probably also assigning yourself failure in 2022 and 2023. And that's not fair to you, right? It's not fair to you to think that you did something to make 2021 happen, but it's also not fair to you to think that you're doing something wrong to make 2022 and 2023 happen. So and what that does is it adds guilt into the equation, where you start feeling like I'm probably the only failure in this industry. And I know a lot of people going through it right now that are just like, I can't believe I'm not as successful as I was. Well, the data would tell you that you probably aren't going to be as successful. So give yourself a break by looking at data. I'm not talking about changing your feelings and be like, but I'm still a winner. Stop, as much as you can, get that emotion out of there and go, the data is telling me that X amount of people refied in 2021 and X times 0 refied in 2023. So that's okay. So I'm probably not going to get a lot of refis. In the room yesterday, we had one guy who had 1 refi this year, one who had 2, one who had 3, but nobody had more than 3 or 4 refis. Okay, so you probably didn't do that many. So forgive yourself for not doing refis. It's okay. The purchases, though, I like to look at how many purchases were done in my area where I have a footprint. And of those purchases, how many did I get? And then why did I only get that number, right? So there's only so many loans to be had right now. And I mean, you can do things to get people to buy houses right now. There's definitely that. But just specifically looking at the reality of the situation, how many of those deals did I get? And why did I only get those deals? And once you do that, you can go, okay, well, then how am I going to get the rest of these deals? So how many phone calls did it take? And I'm going to ask you guys this. How many phone calls did it take in 2021? How many phone calls did you have to make to get somebody willing to take a 3% refi?
So Ken, I'm going to
I'm
going to piggyback on something you said right there without trying to go too far off subject. What you identified was, yes, I gave myself value because I had success in the results. But the truth of the matter is, what does that mean? What skill did you have? So the skill you had was to answer the phone, be available, know how to take an application, and know how to close a loan. Now, the skills that are required today in this market to have the same results are completely different. It's to make 100 outbound phone calls. It's to run 50 credit reports. It's to nurture a pipeline of pre-approved borrowers for months and months and months on end. It's to have relationships with listing agents. So just because you were good in 2021 doesn't mean that you're not good now. It just means that it's a different set of skills. And so we just need to polish those skills. So right now it's all outbound effort, when before we just had to be receivers because the market gave.
Yep. Yeah. Everybody I talk to that's like, it's just not as good as it was last year. I'm like, first of all, you're right. Like, that's the reality. But second of all, what are you doing to make it good? And people are like, wait, what do you mean? And it's amazing to me that they're not going back and going, this is the data. And I love that you called out the outbound calls, because there's a math equation here, right? How many calls do I have to make to lead to a conversation? How many conversations do I have to lead to a potential deal? How many deals do I have to get to lead to a potential closed loan? And I mean, just back into it. So if you go, I'm going to close 5 loans next month, right on. So how many outbound calls does that mean? And it's probably 100 outbound calls, or it's probably more than that. But, let's say it's 500 outbound calls to get 5 closed deals. Okay, cool. How many did you make? And by the way, this can feel really overwhelming. And so getting the data first is the big deal. And let me just give you my own story right now, from what I'm going through. So I do a push-up challenge every year. We do 66,795 push-ups. And the way we do it is you do 1 push-up on the first and 2 on the second and 3 on the third and 4 on the fourth. And I put it out to the industry, or actually just put it on Facebook every year. And I get usually about 30 people to join me every year. And by the end of the year, I usually have 1 to 3 people finishing. I think 3 was the record. No, 2 was the record that actually finished it. And I'm in it right now. And I just had a MRI yesterday on my knee. My knee's shot and I have to go to surgery, which means I can't run. And I know myself well enough to know if I'm not doing something physical and working out, that I'm not going to be in a good mental space. And so I'm looking at this push-up chart. I literally am doing push-ups for June 1st right now. I just finished this morning my June 1st push-ups. Wow. And it's not June 1st. And so I have like a lot of push-ups to do. The trick is it's all data, right? As long as I sit here going, why am I not doing my push-ups? It's so dumb. Like I'm just failing again. Like I'm not going to be successful. But if I sit down and do the math and go, okay, I'm going to have to do this many push-ups on this day and this many on that day. Once I look at the math, I can go, okay, this is realistic. And then I need to act on that and actually do it. But if I don't look at the math, then I'm just operating within my feelings, which my feelings have never done a push-up. And so it's not going to work for me. And so everything is the same for a loan officer. If it feels overwhelming to do 500 phone calls, you're not going to do that many loans. And just acknowledging that and going, okay, well, maybe I need to bring it down to 2 as my target. And I've been telling people this year, lower your standards. Like if you're like, why am I not doing 50 loans a month? Well, it's because there were only 50 loans a month. So how many can I do? And then just do the math and back into it and then do that the right way. So that's my number 2, is just be data focused.
We like push-up challenges, huh, Gino?
Yeah, we did it.
You guys
We did
Good
it.
one. In fact, look back on pictures of how we looked we looked pretty darn good after that push-up challenge.
Well, it was the same, like you're talking about, the steps that we took to get prepared for it was, okay, we did 10, we had to do as many as we could and full 90, not touch chest, but full 90. You couldn't just do this. They actually had somebody watching you and you had your fist down. So you had to do as many as you could in 90 seconds. And at first it was, when we were practicing, you're doing 10, then you're doing 20, and you're 30. And it was amazing how you progress if you were consistent and keep doing it. How all of a sudden you go from doing like where you could barely do 30 to where 30, you're blowing right through it. Then you're doing 50, and then it escalates and everything. And we crushed it. And actually, at the toot my own horn, had the most, other than one Marine that did full push-ups, as many as I did, but I did 122 in 90 seconds. Not bad, huh?
Yeah, it's awesome. But you didn't do that without warming up to it, like doing the first 10, right? And that's the trick, is you can't go out and just punt out. I did 1,000 in a day. And that was just a day doing like 50 at a time, 20 times. I only did that once. But the reason I did that once. I wonder if I could do that. I was kind of in a funk, and I went out to my team and I'm like, I need to get better. And I think I need a health kick. And so I did 1,000 push-ups. But the funny thing is I couldn't do that before I started the right habits, right? So because I was doing, by then it was like 280 a day, I could do 1,000 because I was already doing 280. My body could do it. It was just taking the time and making it happen.
So, I mean, that's something to hang on. I know you're going to jump on to the next one.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you switch from plan to do? Because that's, I think, the hard part, right? Because you just identified, okay, let's lower our standards. Let's talk about something more realistic, something we know we can do. But doing that first push-up is the hardest one. Once you do the first one, just like calls are like that. I mean, Don and I know this from call. You have call reluctance only for the first call. And so I always say, call an easy person first, or call someone you have nothing to sell to, just chat. And then the next call will come easy.
Yeah, I want to roll out something I call my damn program, which is decide, act, manage, next. So most people don't make the decision to do it. They say they should do it, but they never make the decision and go, okay, this is something I'm going to do, right? So the first thing you've got to do is decide I'm going to do this. And then the second thing would be acting on it. And for me, I can't act alone. I'm not very self-disciplined. You have to know yourself, right? So for me, what I do is go, okay, if this is something I want to do, who around me do I have for accountability on this? if you have no accountability, you have no success, right? I need to know that somebody's going to be like, dude, you said you would do this, right? And I have friends in my life that I can reach out to and go, I'm going to do this. Would you make sure that I actually do? I told my wife, we were in Hawaii last week and I was failing at push-ups. And I go, hun, you got to be my drill sergeant today. And so it drove me insane, but it worked. Mindy would just look at me and go, down and give me 50. And I'm like, okay. And then I would jump down and do 50 push-ups because I know that she's going to hold me accountable more than I'm going to hold myself accountable. You have to be out loud about these things because keeping them secret, like keeping your failures secret and not putting them out there makes those failures stay, right? When I did 1,000 push-ups, I woke up that morning and just had a feeling I wanted to do it. I went to Facebook and I said, I'm going to do 1,000 push-ups. Who wants to go with me? And I had people chime in like, I'll do it too. And I had a few people. So throughout the day, we were staying connected and I knew accountability. I was going to be held accountable for getting that done. So to go from I should do to I will do takes you deciding you will, and then having the people around you, again, going back to that team concept. You guys are a great example of this. Don, I'm pretty sure if you were not doing something you said you do, Gino would be like, what is happening right now? Like this, we agreed on. I actually have seen you guys have one of these conversations.
We do. You see us. We're like a married couple,
like,
huh?
Yeah, you're like, we said
out.
we were doing this. Why aren't we doing this? And you're holding each other accountable, which is why that's so strong, right? Is because you guys know that you're accountable. And that's why it goes back to that don't be alone thing, because alone you can just sit in your feelings.
Well, I love that, Ken, because if you think about that, I mean, we could have easily just done Momentum Builder and just say we know it all. And we can do it any way we want to do it and just say that's the way we just chose to do it. Instead, we chose to have you and 12 others be our accountability partners. And we sat down going, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What can we do better? What do you think of our thoughts? And people beat them up and said, no, don't do it that way. And we all agree. It's funny though, our consensus did go towards a path that was best for Momentum Builder and our members. It was totally member focused. Like, hey, who's your audience and who are you trying to help? And it's sorry, we realize it's really not the bottom feeders, it's those who want to help themselves. Those who want to engage, those who want to be accountable, those who want to grow, and that's what we're leaning towards. We had Troy Williams on it, who's given us our best testimony I've ever gotten in my life. I love him to death. And he's a friend of ours that it was nice because you can, as a friend, you can say, I'm not going to go in credit because they're just friends of mine. I don't want the ego going up, but he's like, it changed my life. And he's crushing it because he took action, as you're saying, with accountability from last year's event. And it's changed his career, right, Troy? He's on here.
Troy actually just commented on
back
this
and forth in the chat
in the thread. Yeah, he said that he found that he needs a why to get things done, and he's so right. There's got to be a reason you're doing something, right? And for me, most of the things I do are to motivate other people. Like that's my big thing. If I can make change in people's lives, then I win. And so for me, my push-up challenge isn't about me doing push-ups. It's about that I've got people reaching out to me, showing me like, dude, I just started doing this. And let me tell you what happened because of it. Like it's changed my life. I want to change lives. And so my why is, and really it's why I'm so vocal about like everything. And I throw everything on my Facebook mainly, but because if something that I've been through can help somebody, then it's a win. And so that's my big why. But I want to transition from that to the third thing, which is the individualization. Your why, why do you do business, right? Why are you doing what you do is going to drive your business. So let me just explain that. As I do seminars across the country, I will oftentimes say, what makes you different than everybody else? And I'll have them write down a list of the things that make them different. And it's all wrong. Because then I'll have them read it and then compare it to their neighbor and cross off everything that anybody else in the room has. And there's very little left.
I love that.
And I just interviewed my buddy, Andy Harris, right before this interview, and we're releasing that video into the Coop this week or next week. But I was talking to him because this guy is like fiercely passionate about his business. And we were talking about brand. And I go, you're different. And you've branded yourself because it's who he is. He doesn't know how to go halfway. He doesn't know how to not be passionate. And he'll admit to a fault, like he can't stop himself from saying things on Facebook. But the dude is somebody that I know is going to take care of clients. And so his brand is who he is. He individualizes as, I am the smartest person that you like, and he doesn't say it out loud, but he is incredibly intelligent. He cares so much. And when I have somebody who's being treated wrong by a loan officer and comes to me and goes, I just feel like I'm getting, bounced around all the place. Like, just call Andy, see what he thinks. Cause that's his brand, right? I have another loan officer who's done a lot of my purchase loans that I've done. And she's awesome, but she puts her family first. Her whole brand is her family is first, and she cares about everybody as a human. And she's not the same as Andy. She's very different, but I referred her a loan because I'm like, these people need a special touch. Like, they need somebody who's just loving. For them, it wasn't about, you can fire out all the numbers. It was that she's loving, like, know your brand and know what makes you different. Cause she could tell you, I just care about you more than anybody ever will. And like, it flows out of her because it's who she is. People who try to make their brand something other than who they are, it's just never going to work. Right. It's why when we talk about doing video, I think most people could do video. I don't think a lot of people should do video, because if you're not good at it and you try and you get good, that's awesome. But if you're not good at it because you're just not a person that is very, like, I don't want to say this, fun to talk to, or you're kind of boring, but you're a freaking rock star loan officer because of how well you handle the loan, don't go do video. Like, I shouldn't look at you as like my video guy. I should look at you as, this person's not going to be a great personality, but they will never do anything wrong. Like, they are always going to do the right thing, and they'll know what's right. But just know who you are and be able to stand out and say, this is who I am and this is why I'm different. And be able to do that in a way that people can see it and feel it and want to send you business. I think just saying we provide the best customer service. My favorite is, I call people back. Is that the baseline? Like, really? That's what makes you amazing. First of all, that says something about our industry. But second of all, I think you need a better thing that you can write about. Yeah. So individualizing is big.
Who else, before you leave that, Ken, I love that fine tuning your brand, because that's something that Gino and I are working on a regular basis and helping our team with, because otherwise there's no differentiation between one loan officer and another, like you said. And one of our other coaches that's on our calls often, he's actually part of our think tank that talks a lot about brand. And okay, great. You get them to your site, you get them to think about you. Then what? What does your brand really represent? And Roland Cochran, he's hardcore on brand, personal branding. He goes, so what? You're the best at social media. You're the best at getting them to your website. Then what? What does it say about you? So it's really important that
we're in the era of personal brand, because you're able to express yourself one to many with social media, which we couldn't do very easily before. And I think the last year we've been talking about personal brand, because the reality of the matter is people want to work with people they like. That's never changed. Yep. So you just have to attract the people who like you or are like you or are attracted to the things you talk about. So the more you put yourself out there, the more people get to know you, the more people are exposed to you. You just have it's like a large networking event is really what it is, with less alcohol. But other than that, that's really what social media is. And it doesn't have to be less alcohol. I guess you could get drunk and go on social media, but it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
We see people do it all the time, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, but look at,
what were they thinking?
Let's take a real scenario, because I mean, obviously within mortgages, but you just said personal brand. We talked in the beginning of this call. I was like, dude, that dinner, right? I know you guys know how to have a dinner, right? Gino, you didn't sit back and go, what's going to make me super successful? I think I'm going to do a dinner thing, right? Or I think I'm going to be into wine, or I think I'm going to be into great experiences. It's who you freaking are, right? And so for somebody to try and be you, they will fail. But you have communicated your brand is, I know that if you go, Ken, you want to go grab dinner? I'm like, oh, yes. Like, I know that is you are an experience maker, but it's who you are, right? Our brand, we're super funny. Like, we're entertaining, but we're also deep knowledge. Like, I'm a massive researcher who likes to have fun and make things funny and entertaining. I'm also ADHD. I'm never going to train somebody in a way that that I wouldn't listen to. So, but if I'm not funny, that can't be my brand, right? And so your brand is what
it
you
is who you are.
It's
Don Prize.
It has.
I try.
Yeah.
That's what's funny about me, is my attempt to be funny.
Right. Oh, that's hilarious.
But Gino does tee me up pretty well, though.
I do. I create a lot of bloopers that just set him up. I think that's
I'm
why
like, he walks
figured it
around
out.
with a fucking pocket of teas. I'm like, thank you, Gino.
Pat.
And that's also why loan officers sometimes fail when they try to bring in an assistant. So you bring in an LOA to try and help you with your business. If that LOA doesn't match your brand, you
Oh, yeah.
lose your borrowers because they're like, wait, now you're having me talk to so-and-so. I'm sorry, but they're nothing like you. Like, I'm going to you for you. But if you can get somebody who is like, my favorite thing is when somebody Sonia on your team, right?
Mhm.
Great example of she fits so beautifully with your team.
She's on the
So
call, so
if
she's loving this right now.
if I talk to Sonia and she was not like you guys, and she doesn't need to be you. She needs to be in
She's
the
not
way
us.
of that brand, right? So I know I probably won't call you if I want something done. I'll just call her. And that's
Thank you.
that's the brilliance of it. I know. And people know that with me, right? If you want to get something done, don't call me. Call Allison. She'll take care of you, right? It's not
Right.
It's just that, but if they talk to that person and that person doesn't match brand, it doesn't work at all. And so you need to consistently communicate who you are as a team. And then
100%. That's
hire only
brilliant,
people
by
that-
the way. These steps are really good, Ken. I mean, you're hitting stuff that matters right now. Not like
Mhm.
we always tell our people, you know, our goal for 2024 Momentum Builder is literally TED Talks. Not a lot of fluff.
Mhm.
You know, we have some big dogs that we're going to allow them to do the thing because we trust in what they do, a Barry and a Todd. You kind of let them go because
Mhm.
they're just, you know, they're the guns of the industry and they always lead by example and have great content. But most of the team, including us, we're trying to narrow it down to get to the point of what's relevant right now. And you're doing a great job of that, Ken,
Mhm.
because these are things that we all need to think about right now.
Yep.
Because it's hard right now. And that's why I applaud all of you that are on this call for reaching out and being part of others, just like we included you and others in our think tank. And we include all of you on this call. Every week we ask, how can we be better? What can we do? Give us insights. Who would you like to hear on one of these calls? Please let us know, by the way. I just sent out three invites. But we would like to know. We're open to improving, and you need to be as well. So good stuff, Ken.
All right, let me give you another one. And this
Okay.
one is, of course, it's what wakes me up in the morning, and that is learning. There's time right now to learn, right? And the problem in our industry and why I launched this company back in 2003, I was an account executive, and everywhere I went, people would be like, can you package the deal for me? Hey, what do I do with this? How do I do math? And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, I've seen your paycheck. How are you making that much money when you don't know what you're doing? And fortunately, a lot of those people are out of the industry. We have a lot of good people in the industry, but if you stop learning in this industry, you're dead, right? And I think right now, especially for those newcomers, you have to know more than everybody else. I think the whole underwriters add condition thing is mainly garbage. I think when I hear a loan officer say that, I go, that's really weird, because as a loan officer, I never had an underwriter add a condition, unless there was something we didn't know and that we couldn't have known, right? Borrowers sometimes lie. They quit their job at the last minute. Okay, that obviously will trigger that. But the majority of those underwriter add conditions is you didn't do your job. And when I was a loan officer, I first got in, I read every guideline for every investor we had. And my goal was, I never want to lead a borrower down the wrong path, and I never want to waste an underwriter's time. And so I became the smartest person at all of the things I needed to be smart at, so that I could go out with that confidence at 25, 24 years of age when I got in this business. And I knew I was going to be looked at like, oh, you're just a kid. So I had to be smarter, right? And so be an expert on this business and earn that business. Shashank Shakar said something one time that I loved. Somebody said he does a lot of loans for people who are Indian. And somebody asked in a seminar, well, they're just, rate shoppers or whatever. And he goes, oh, no, they're just shopping you because you're not that good. And I was like,
100%.
he said it out loud. I love that.
Yeah,
If
he's
they don't
confident
figure
and
that
his
good, they
numbers back
shop.
it up.
And
Yeah.
it's perfect because, it's funny when we culturally identify a group and we put them all into this one segment, right? Whatever that's called, prejudice or whatever.
Right.
But the reality is, with that particular group, now that I've gotten closer with them, I understand they are super loyal once you have a personal relationship. If
Yep.
you're acting with them in a transactional manner, they're going to grind you. But if
Yeah.
you have a personal relationship, if you actually care about their family, if you understand that they're trying to send their kids to college and every one of those $300 matter, if you really understand where they're coming from and you approach things with empathy, totally different conversations. So you're 100% correct. And that's not just that culture, that's everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. If you act transactional, this is one of the things that we've talked about a lot this year, and it still keeps going around in my head. We speak like we're relational, but we act transactionally. And the way I explain that, and it's usually a conversation I'm having with to realtors, but we're guilty as well. During the 30 days leading up to a transaction, how often do you talk to a borrower? Twice a week, 3 times a week, maybe daily. You know everything about them, your best buds. Then when you're in the transaction, maybe you talk every 3 to 5 days. Hey, your appraisal came in. Hey, your approval is in. Congratulations. Everything's cool. Do you have any friends you want to recommend to me? Blah, 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 blah. Then you close the transaction and wham, you don't talk to them again.
No,
That is the
never.
definition of transactional.
Yep. It's
So-
insane. Yeah. I just ran into my realtor that was my realtor on my house, and I haven't seen him since then. And he hasn't reached out to me once since then. That was 12 years ago. I've had no realtors reach out to me. And I'm like, I ran into him at a seminar I was speaking at, and he walks up, he's like, remember me? And I'm like, of course I do. Do you remember me? Because it doesn't feel like you do. Like, that's weird that we back out of the relationship as soon as it's done. But I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, this is going to be a very painful industry for you. And when we launched in 03, the company was just new loan officer training and how to do it right all the time. And last year we started building out all of that content. And so now we've got, I don't know, 50 hours worth of content we've created on how to do loans, because we think the industry needs to learn how to do loans again. Because
100% is totally back to
eliminate
basics,
a
buddy.
lot of that. Yeah, you have to eliminate ambiguity. You have to just be like, I can do this. Here's how I do this. I know I can do this, and I'm going to do it right. Because you only get one shot sometimes, especially the second they don't trust that you know what you're doing is when they Google interest rates. That's the only time, right? They like you, they trust you. Why are they looking elsewhere, right? And we just bought my daughter bought a car, and it was so funny. I'm sitting there and I'm like, these guys are freaking, they're not giving us the best deal, and they're running around and, oh no, now it's this and now it's that, and I'm just Googling, and I'm actually texting with other car dealers while I'm sitting there because I didn't trust them. And they do the same thing to us if they don't trust that we know what we're doing. So learning and becoming an expert is absolutely what you've got to do. And then I'll give you the last one.
Time.
Oh yeah, totally.
Now's the time.
You have time.
We tell our team, I don't know what you're doing if you're not learning and getting better. I don't have time to learn mortgage coach. I don't have time to study MBS highway. I don't have time to learn how to do videos. I'm like, when are you going to do it then? And how are you going to get this? Because those who are grinding and the ones that are killing it with us right now are literally going back to old school. I mean, they're literally making the calls. They have lists. They're making meetings. They're going to open houses. They're back in the grind. Now, Ken, you'll appreciate this. We have the average age of our industry is older in most cases. We have a new generation coming on, but most are old shits like me that have been around for 3 decades. And a lot of we're finding, even on our own team, where they're like, I'm like 50 or 60. I don't have the energy to throw a cowboy hat on and go back in, and it's tough. It's really tough. That's why we're giving.
I am going to continue to say this. Let's stop calling it the grind. It is not a bad thing. It's called prospecting, and it's our job. It is not the grind. Right? It is our job to prospect. It is our job to be salespeople. It is our job to make phone calls. It is not the grind.
Yep.
Hey, look, I got a bunch of hearts for
that. I'll give you a thumbs up, Gino, on that
one. That's awesome. By the way, on that networking comment, you should not be afraid to do non-money making activities. Like, I think people think everything should lead to a deal. Nope. There's a bunch of things you can do right now that do not lead to money right now, but that lead to money down the road. So don't just be thinking about, if you do something, you go to a networking event, you walk back, you're like, why didn't even make any money off that? When we go to conferences, one of the struggles we have is like, where'd that deal come from? Right? Well, we'll have somebody call us and go, okay, I'm ready to move forward with you guys. And I've been friends with them for like 6 years at conferences. And it's just now's the time. And it took that much, of relationship for them to be in a position, or they'll like go work for a company that doesn't use the Knowledge Coop, and they'll reach out and be like, hey, we're friends. I need you to be here. Well, that wasn't a money-making, activity I was doing, but it led to, this thing. So, and by the way, I've been golfing more, and I think I told you guys this, but there's a golfer named Kenny Perry, and my goal is to make more on the golf course than he did on the golf course. So relationships I'm making while golfing have led to, we're over $1 million already.
Oh, that's awesome. Kenny Perry was really good. And you
I
hit
have a
the
ways to
ball
go.
a long ways, dude. You hit the ball a long way. I'd be like crushing it. And then you go by me. I'm like, what the hell with that little, what do you use? A yellow ball or a pink one? I
Yeah,
don't know.
a yellow
Something like
soccer
that.
ball.
Yeah, a little soccer
Dude, if
ball.
I had
that's
any
it.
sort of short game, I could do something
It's
with
the only
it.
way I can catch up to you. I just let you guys scramble around the green, luckily.
Oh man. All right, let me give you the
Oh,
last
look at
one.
Sean. Okay.
Yeah.
How
Sean-
funny
Sean's
is that
always
Sean
networking
is
on
on
the
the
golf
call.
course.
I'm so pumped to have Sean. Sean's my golf partner. And he's actually,
nice.
I'm a backpack to him. He's a really good golfer. He's like a 1 handicap, and he hits the ball 50 yards past you and I, at least.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I love that
Wow.
he just put golf's a great way to network. That's what he
Yeah.
does.
Yep.
But
All right, let me
what
give you
were
the
talking about.
the
Don and
last
I
thing.
called. I was gonna say Don and I call what you were just talking about return on relationship, not
There you
return
go.
on, not return
ROR.
on investment.
Yep. Perfect. All right,
Sorry,
last
go
thing.
ahead, Ken.
And this one, I gotta drive home this one because I want everybody to do this. So you are, we all have things that we do that make us better, and we all have things that we do that make us worse. And if I'm ever not doing well, you can ask me, well, are you doing the right things to do well? And I'll go, no. Because if I'm not doing well, it's because I'm not doing the things that I know are best for me. And so I had an ADHD coach that was helping me, get better at the things that I was struggling to get better at. And she goes, you know what it takes to be successful. I'm like, yeah. She goes, let's write them down. And so I started an owner's manual. Just like anything that you own, if you look at the owner's manual, it's going to tell you how to operate that thing, right? If you ask me if I'm doing the things in my owner's manual, actually, you don't even have to ask. If you look at the results of my life, you'll be able to tell whether I'm doing it. So my owner's manual, and sadly, I can't run right now because of my knee, but running is in my owner's manual. So I have to come up with some other way of exercising. Meditation is in my owner's manual. Listening to the right music is in my owner's manual. My to-do list is in my owner's manual. So like all of these things that make me the best version of myself, what we do sometimes is when we're not doing that well, we'll just stop doing the things that make us successful or stop doing the things that make us our best self. And that doesn't work. But the longer you stay out of your owner's manual, the more your car is going to break down, right? The more your body's going to break down, the more your mental health is going to break down. And so write down those things that for you, when I'm doing these things, I am successful in both life and work, right? So write those things down and then keep going back to them. And I just add to them all the time, where journaling is one of those things. If I journal every night, I'm a better human. And so if I'm not doing well, you can be like, well, are you journaling? No, I'm not. Dang it. And it's in my owner's manual. I know that it's what it takes, right? My kids always complain because my daughter bought a car that takes premium gas. And she's like, this sucks. And I'm like, right, but your car is running better because of it. And it's just more expensive. So know what gas your body takes, right? Know what you need to be doing, and then always go back to it. And don't feel stupid because we all stray, right? We all go, and maybe, drinking 1 drink a night is good. You're fine, but maybe drinking 10 drinks a night is going to be a little bit too much for you. Well, have it written down. Like, I know myself well enough to know that when I do this, I'm good. And when I do this, I'm not. So I'm going to do this. And then just open up your day with that owner's manual and go, am I living the way that is best for me?
Owner's manual. That's
love
new.
that concept. I love
Dude,
that concept.
my
And
coach
it's
gave me that.
different from your business plan. It's your owner's manual. That's pretty cool,
I
dude.
love that concept. Don, you know what? You made me listen to when we back in the day, Don, and some people don't know this, but Don was my branch manager and I was one of his loan officers. And I had all these bad habits. And so he had to coach a bunch of that shit away from me. And one of them
He doesn't have Post-its to this day.
I no more Post-its. I'm actually completely paperless, better than him now. But the one thing that was interesting was he made us listen to these Success Magazine CDs. And they were the CDs that came in his Success.
Remember those Darren Hardy?
Yeah. And there was
And Jim
guys that
Rohn.
was like, there was one of these guys that was like, I don't know, like this 4-foot tall guy that had to overcome, and he's a billionaire and he had to overcome all these things. And he was talking about, whenever I fall off my path, I remind myself, when my life was best, what were the things I was doing? And I've always had that, and I've always remembered that moment. But now you just took that same thing and you made it really tangible. I can write down right now, when my life is best, these are the things I do. And man, if you were to wake up every morning and look in your owner's manual and check the boxes, like a daily checklist almost. Hey, did I do my meditation? Did I do my savers from Hal Elrod? Did I do, if you could do that as a checkbox every day, it's like you'd have to be a moron to screw it up the rest of the day if you just did those first 10, 15 things in the day. The interesting thing about all that is, now I think Hal gets into it in his second or third book. But in order to have a good morning, it starts the night before. And so that's something that we've been working on diligently with Don. We measure our sleep metrics. I don't drink caffeine after midday anymore. Like
We even show each other our sleep. Man, how'd you do last night?
How'd you do? What's your score? We gamified it. This is the score. Oh, I got 100 last night, by the way, Don.
Oh, I did not. I had a lot. My mind was a little. I'm leaving on a 4-day Baja motorcycle trip, like right after this call, literally. I'm like, you were more important than me taking off. But we had to San Diego, and we crossed the border tomorrow and be riding all through Baja for the next 4 days. Woo!
Wow.
With Cameron Steele, Johnny Campbell, like some of the rock stars in the industry, 11-time Baja champion. And I get to go with Desert Assassins, luckily friends of mine. So it's gonna be really good. And I go with one of my best friends, David, which is really cool. Is he taught me how to ride when I was 12. And now we still ride together at this time, almost 5 decades later. Anyways.
Well, writing is in your owner manual. Like that writing is in your owner's manual. You're best when you get your rides in, right? And
Gino knows that.
Yeah, but for you, like, if it's like, well, why aren't you doing this other thing? And you're like, hang on, I need to make sure that I'm my best self, which means motocross it's not a waste of time for you. It's not you playing, it's you making sure that you're your best self, right? It's golf for me.
So funny you say that. You hit the nail on the head. I tell him when I call him on the way back, I'm like, dude, that was so good for me. Cause it's the one thing I can't think about work when I'm doing. Literally, I can't, or I'll die.
Yeah.
You know, cause I'm still an idiot at my age doing doubles and triple jumps and stuff. And as soon as I hit that track, there is no moto. And I get done, I'm like, oh yeah, ready to conquer the world. So good point. Good point. Anybody have any questions? Oh, and I want to make sure we hit something very important about what you do and how you can help our group, because you actually even thankfully, you give our members a discount on something we all have to do to retain our licenses, and you have to do continuing education. And guess what Knowledge Coop does? They're the best at it. We're going to use you, our whole group. We didn't have this great resource, and you guys are the best. So you were nice enough to give our Momentum Builder members a discount. Do we have that info, Sonia, by any chance? And I know you can go to knowledgecoop.com, but there's a discount.
I'm going to put it in the chat.
You're the best, Sonia.
So Ken, look, dude,
Awesome.
this was such a really refreshing chat, because it's a completely new take on a lot of the things that we've talked about before. And I just love the perspective you bring it from. So I think that's something interesting, right? We could talk about the same thing, but when you look at it from a different perspective, all of a sudden it's enlightening. I mean, this owner's manual thing, I'm like, man, this is fantastic. I feel like I need to go write mine down like right now. So I challenge the people that are on this call, like next week when we come back, at least have 1 page done, right? I'm going to have 1 page done in my owner's manual. It might be a lot of FAQs, but those need to be in there too.
No, it's a great idea though. It's super simple. You know, here's the things I need to do. Gino and I know when we go to the gym and start our day out early, it starts our day off on the right foot. And it started with Hal Elrod, and you got to read his second book, because then he goes, I left you hanging, didn't I? I taught you how to wake up and start your day. I didn't tell you how to actually complete your day and utilize that and leverage that to be more successful and stuff. So
yeah, well, look, I mean,
which is hilarious, because look at my calendar the night before is in my owner's manual. That's actually one of the things in my owner's manual is don't go to bed without looking at your calendar for tomorrow, because I've woken up sometimes and gone, oh my gosh, look what I have. Like it's way better.
Gene and I know that now, because we fill each other's calendars now, and then Sonia fills our calendar, and somebody does. So we have to look at it. Otherwise, like you said, surprises just derail your day for sure. And you can't prepare accordingly. You know, if we didn't look at the calendar all week and know that Ken Perry's going to be on our call and we have to be prepared for it, we wouldn't be prepared. You know, we wouldn't have had the call that we had to make sure that we're prepared and so forth. And you're just a quality dude. And everybody here should make sure they pay attention to Scoop, because it's not just CE credits. Dude, your website is freaking the bomb. All the videos, all the insights, all the education, all the fun. You guys have a lot of freaking fun videos and stuff. You're a hoot. I mean, this is Tamekin, just so you know. We've hung out with Ken for 3 days, and we got to do it again. We are doing our.
He's in full blown work mode.
Right.
Totally.
He took his meds. He's ready to go.
Exactly. True.
And we're no different, Ken. You've seen us. We're like,
oh yeah, there we go.
Animals like,
oh yeah, yep.
Look at that.
The video about the refis being gone. Bye refis.
Bye America. Corona refis.
Yeah.
Oh
that was
my
so good.
gosh, I cried.
So
It was
good.
so perfectly done the way they did that.
Yeah.
Bye. It's all to bye Miss American Pie, but it's bye Corona refis. Oh, it's good stuff.
Solid work. I know the team is amazing. But yeah, this is, I mean, we're doing training on everything from VA loans to, like, you can see there, brand and reputation, tax and credit. We've got full classes in there for our subscribers can get access to everything that we do.
I love
Very
that. And
cool.
I know, Ken, that we need to always remind people, it's like CE is something you do. It's not who your company is. It's not the identity of your company. It's just one of the things you provide. It's one of the one of the products you provide, but it's so much more than that.
And kudos to you adding so much more than here's where you get your CE credit. You're a resource. And that's what, you know, our goal is to be, is we're agnostic, and we bring in great people like you and, you know, the people in our think tank, and, you know, the speakers and coaches we're surrounded with now. I mean, they're the best between Barry and Todd. I go down a list. There's, you know, 24 of the best in the industry that are all givers and people that we all, including Gina and I, we listen to on a regular basis. So,
well, and Ken, I mean, you hit the nail on the head in the beginning when you were talking about team. That's how Don and I have leveled up. We educate ourselves and we surround ourselves with the best. That's how we learned. You learn when you're around those people. That's the reality.
Yep.
And there's your discount code, Momentum 10, i.e. Momentum Builder. And everybody knows, you want to put up the new dates for our Momentum Builder. We just bumped it up a day so that we can lock and load everybody. We're not doing, it's really cool. I think you'll like this, Ken. I don't know if we told you, but what's cool is we want everybody to not just show up at an event. We want you to be part of the whole experience. We got rid of, you agreed with this, you helped us with this thought process, and we all agreed. We used to, you know, a lot of events, and nothing against them, we're just doing a little different, have VIP and platinum or what, all these different levels. And you can, depending on what party you want to go to or what food you want or where you want to sit. We wanted to do something different. We want everybody to be a VIP. We're limiting it to 500 people. That's it. Not 1,000, 500. And we want you to have the full experience. So you get everything. So there's one price, and you get it all. The networking events, the networking breakfast to start your day, the best speakers there are that are going to give you tactical strategies, not fluff, not just stories, but tactical strategies you're going to take home and change your personal and professional lives. And then we end it, Ken, instead of doing a half day on a Thursday, remember, you're done Friday. You do whatever you want. You can go home or you can start your Vegas weekend. But Thursday, we have an opening night, Tuesday night, and then a networking party. And then we have 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday. And Thursday, we end with this. We end with the party. So we can all celebrate together, not go, I shouldn't party too hard. I shouldn't. No, we're going to celebrate that we all stuck together for the full 2 days and got such value. And then we go to this bar here. You've been to it, right, Ken? It's like the coolest nightclub I've ever been to. And we're going to take over the entire thing. And it's going to have entertainment and food, and there's a double-decker bus in the back playing music. I mean, it's off the charts. It's off the charts. It's gonna be really fun. And we can all celebrate together. And then Friday, you're done. You're not trying to leave half day with your luggage and your, you know, next to your seat. And, you know, you're like, darn, I should be listening to that last person, but I got to get on my plane. Nope. Lock and load for 2 days, and you're going to change your life. So
And stay
make-
after and run with me, because the rock and roll half and the rock and roll full and the 5K and 10K are right after that event. So
Oh,
I'm
that's
gonna, as long
right.
as my surgery goes well, I'm gonna be back up and running for that.
Very cool. So our next event, you know this guy, Ryan Grant, heard of him? Tribe Coaching. So he's
always
bringing
trying
it. He's
to-
bringing a whole panel next week.
Yeah.
He's
And
not messing
and he
around.
reached out because he's like, we need to give an update. He's like, I know I was on a couple of months ago, but things are changing really quickly. I need to give an update. I need to be in front of your community again. We gotta bring them up to speed. And I was like, awesome, let's do it.
So they're bringing their whole team there.
Yes.
Oh, look at
Yes!
that.
We have to. I love
We're gonna
that.
have to get that shirt.
Yes.
I love
That's
it.
funny, Sonia. She just did that on the fly, by the way.
I know.
Nice.
That
So
is so
good.
cool. Very cool.
I need a
Yeah.
hat too, please. Thank you.
PMD. Well, thank you, Ken. Thank you for your friendship, first and foremost. Thanks
Absolutely.
for your inspiration, your giving attitude to help us get better, and being part of today's call. Good stuff, dude. I mean, I have a whole
Thanks,
page
man.
of notes. Good stuff to share.
Awesome.
Thank you, brother.
So thank
Make me
you
feel
again,
better.
and we'll put together our next group meeting for the second half of the year to be ready for Momentum Builder 2024. And we'll have our membership going on soon, and so much cool stuff. So thanks for being part of Momentum Builder community. Love you guys very much. Be here every week. Share this. Make sure they download the app. We're up to 715 already in 3 months. Not too shabby.
Nice.
All right, everyone. Thanks.
See you,
Have a
gang.
great day.
Thank you, Kenny.
Have a safe ride,
Thanks,
Don.
Ken.